Have you ever just sat at an airport window and watched the absolute chaos unfold around a plane right before it pushes back from the gate? I mean, it looks completely frantic, doesn't it? But commercial aviation is actually one of the most complex, precisely coordinated ecosystems human beings have ever managed to build. So today, we're going to go inside the invisible factory of the commercial airline industry. We're going to unpack the foundational business mechanics that make this whole thing work, discovering how everything from the macro-level international rules of the sky, right down to the micro-level turnaround metrics, literally keeps an airline in the air and financially afloat.
So here's the billion-dollar question. What actually makes an airline profitable? Honestly, considering the astronomical, fixed overhead required just to buy a single jet, it's kind of wild these companies make any money at all. How exactly do airlines survive on what are famously razor-thin profit margins? Well, every single day, thousands of split-second operational decisions are made to balance three absolute non-negotiable pillars. You need absolute safety as a core value, you need service excellence for the passenger, and you need incredibly strict operational efficiency. If literally any one of these slips, the entire system just breaks down. It's a high-wire act with unbelievable stakes.
Here is our flight plan for this explainer. First, the global aviation ecosystem. Second, airline business models. Third, understanding cost structures. Fourth, the aviation service chain. And finally, KPIs and the cost of delays.
Section 1. The global aviation ecosystem. Rules of the sky.
To truly understand this business, you really have to decode the aviation alphabet soup. Basically, there are three critical interlocking layers of oversight. At the very top, you've got ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization. This UN body sets the high-level, baseline global standards for safety. But here's the fascinating part. Those global standards are effectively useless without enforcement on the ground. And that's exactly where the DGCA, or Directorate General of Civil Aviation, steps in. They are the national authority in whichever country the airline operates, and they hold the power to literally ground a fleet if local safety regulations aren't met. Sitting right between those two is IATA, the global association for the airlines themselves. They handle the operational plumbing, things like standardizing ticketing, routing cargo, and running those grueling IOSA safety audits. It's this completely symbiotic regulatory web that holds it all together.
Section 2. Airline business models, FSC versus LCC.
Underneath those strict global frameworks, airlines basically take one of two dramatically different philosophy paths to turn a profit. First, you have full-service carriers, or FSCs. They are selling an end-to-end, bundled hospitality journey. They offer the premium lounge, the complex global connecting routes, the hot meals, and the frequent flyer perks. On the flip side, low-cost carriers, or LCCs, strip every single bit of that away. Their entire financial engine relies on unbundled point-to-point transit. With an LCC, you're basically just renting a seat, and sometimes it feels like you need to swipe a credit card just to breathe the cabin air or use the overhead bin. But the really amazing thing is, whether you're getting a hot towel or paying for a cup of water, both business models are operating the exact same multi-million-dollar, highly regulated machinery.
Section 3. Understanding cost structures. Where the money goes. Now, no matter the business model, the holy trinity of operating costs dominates the financial landscape. We're talking fuel, crew, and maintenance. And it is staggering how sensitive this triad really is. Fuel is a massive, highly volatile expense. A sudden geopolitical event can literally sink a profitable route overnight. Then there's the crew. Highly trained pilots, dispatchers, and cabin staff are incredibly expensive, and their working hours are capped to the minute by regulators. Finally, keeping a modern aircraft airworthy requires relentless, highly specialized upkeep. Masterfully managing this high-wire financial act between fuel efficiency, crew scheduling, and maintenance routing, that is the absolute core of airline business survival. Section 4. The aviation service chain, the physical operation.
Think of the service chain as a continuous, high-stakes relay race. It all starts with ground handling, intricate weight and balance calculations, safely loading cargo, and getting passengers on board. Then, the baton passes to air operations. This is where dispatchers have mapped out the most fuel-efficient route while dodging weather, and the pilots and cabin crew execute the flight. But you know what? The true adrenaline rush happens at post-flight. The absolute second those wheels touch the tarmac, a ticking clock starts. The aircraft turnaround begins. That plane has to be deplaned, cleaned, meticulously inspected, refueled, recatered, and boarded all over again, usually in under an hour. It is a frantic, beautifully synchronized ballet, and if just one person drops the baton, the entire network feels the shockwave.
Section 5, KPIs and the cost of delays, measuring success.
So, to know if they're actually winning that relay race, airlines track specific metrics, but the real insight lies in the brutal tension between them. Let's look at load factor, which is the percentage of filled seats, and yield, the actual revenue generated per passenger. An airline could easily hit 100% load factor by slashing ticket prices down to, say, $10, but doing that would completely destroy their yield, causing them to bleed millions of dollars. Conversely, charging astronomical prices might boost the yield, but it leaves the plane flying half empty, which still burns massive amounts of fuel. And sitting above all of this is on-time performance, or OTP. If the plane isn't punctual, this delicate balance between capacity and revenue completely falls apart.
When on-time performance slips, we immediately see the domino effect. In commercial aviation, a single delay is never just a single delay. If a plane is trapped at the gate for 20 minutes because of some minor baggage loading issue, a deep financial dread sets into the airline operations center. Why? Well, that sitting plane is burning expensive fuel just to run its auxiliary power. The flight crew is now inching dangerously close to their legally mandated maximum working hours, risking a timed-out crew that grounds the flight entirely. Passengers are going to miss connecting flights, triggering expensive hotel and rebooking protocols. A seemingly harmless morning delay rapidly cascades into a massive financial and operational nightmare by the evening.
When these delay penalties actually kick in, costs don't just creep up, they skyrocket. Because the margins in this industry are so thin to begin with, a significant delay on a single route can instantly wipe out the profit margins for that specific aircraft for the entire quarter. Yeah, the whole quarter. The cost of a delay isn't just an inconvenience or a bad customer review on social media. It is a direct, violent hit to the fundamental financial viability of the business itself.
It is a genuine miracle of modern engineering, strict regulation, and ruthless financial management that this invisible factory operates as seamlessly as it usually does. So the next time you walk down a jet bridge, find your seat, and hear the click of your seatbelt, will you look out the window and finally see the massive, invisible choreography happening right beneath your feet?